Hey everyone, what's going on today? I hope you're all doing well and enjoying your week. I can't ever remember to drink my coffee in time, so I'm sitting here drinking room temperature coffee as I'm recording this. Anyways, this week I'm talking about Season 9 and some of the teasers coming up, some lore, and as always a bug report at the end of the video. Now you might think, but Matt, Season 9? Teasers? Season 8 just started. And this is where I remind you that there's only like 20 days left of the season, so jump on that battle pass if you haven't completed it already. I actually have a few levels left myself. Let's jump on into the video. So, Season 9. What do we know so far? It may not seem like a lot, but as far as game teasers and hype goes, out of the game, relatively speaking, we actually have a ton to go on here. A long while ago, maybe December-ish, we started seeing a lot more Apex advertising in Japan. And this was interesting because why the big surge of advertising in Japan all of a sudden? A lot of the top Apex streamers are Japanese, that's true, but that's not an all of a sudden out of the blue thing. More recently, I think about a month ago, game director Chad Grenier had mentioned in an interview that Japanese players are going to be excited about the next season. These two things alone, I think, point to a Japanese legend next season, which would be so exciting as it is another character being Asian or bringing Asian representation into the game. And the timing couldn't be better to have more East Asian representation in mainstream media and video games. But I don't think this is all, but I'm going to circle back to that in a second. So what else do we know about Season 9? Recently, the gaming community, Brown Girl Gamer Code, sat down with Ashley Reed, one of the Apex writers, and Chad Grenier to talk about Apex, and they may have given us some more teasers for Season 9. And by may have, I mean they definitely did. Chad had a big thing to say about next season. One of these things is that he said if you're a Titanfall fan, hang on for Season 9. He mentioned that we're going to be seeing a lot of Titanfall coming to Apex soon. I think this is not only referring to lore, but I think there may be some gameplay mechanics from Titanfall coming to the next season as well. Could the Legend utilize some more Titanfall mechanics? We know many Legend's abilities borrow things from Titanfall, such as Caustic borrows his mechanics from the Scorch Titan, Wraith phases like a phase pilot, and more. Titans have also been teased in the past, specifically Viper's Titan. We're not going to be seeing a Titan outright, as I know those will not be in gameplay according to the devs. But we could maybe see the next Legend using Titan parts as part of her kit. I wouldn't count it out of the realm of possibility. Blisk and Ash have also been referenced and utilized frequently throughout gameplay and lore going back all the way to Season 5. We may see one of them take on a more prominent role, and I don't necessarily mean that one of them will become a legend for next season, just that we'll see more of them in the game one way or another. Story-wise, Ashley said that we were told that Titanfall 1 and 2 were focused on wartime, whereas Apex now focuses on what comes after war, dealing with the fallout, and we've seen a lot of that already within our characters and their stories. But certainly more is to come if they're mentioning that. The universe is going to become more integrated. So, to circle back to our Japanese brothers and sisters who play, I did the bare minimum amount of research here and noticed that on PlayStation servers, Japanese East Asian players were a decent amount of the player base, about 10%. And that's just on PlayStation. And I believe PlayStation numbers were generally lower anyways for Titanfall 2, since the first one never came out on PlayStation to begin with. So maybe Grenier was talking about the Japanese players also being excited about more Titanfall content. That seems kind of general, and I think there is more to it than that. But I also think there's more to it than just Legend representation. We should start seeing in-game teasers though, just about any day now, as the season's not that far away. We've already seen the firing range teaser, but there should be more to that as well coming. Next up, more lore. Watson finally confronts Caustic about his plan to wipe out a whole city from the map, Sala City. You can expect voice lines about this in Season 9 as well, and if you haven't already, check out the comment on Apex's official Twitter. This is the second time in as many weeks that a lore comic has dropped on Twitter. This one was drawn by Preety, which if you haven't checked out her artwork, give her a look at Preety Sketch on Twitter. We also have the in-game comic out that came out yesterday. I actually haven't read that myself yet, so I still need to do that too. Nothing too new on the bug report this week compared to last week. Earlier this week, however, PlayStation users started reporting that their progress was completely lost, and they were reset back to level 1. They lost all of their cosmetics as well as in-game currency, and I'm sure many of them just about had a heart attack logging on to see that. Fortunately, the problem was identified and Respawn was able to restore the accounts from a backup, so this issue should be resolved. If you haven't logged in since then, there may be a couple visual bugs such as your rank still saying 1 or your coins gone, but if you play one game that should be rectified and it'll show properly after that. The other thing, quickly, if you are a female Apex player, Black Girl Gamer Code is hosting an all-female Apex Legends tournament, and you can sign up for that on their Twitter. And that's it for this week. Credit is in the description, but a big thank you to Toxic Dogs again for the thumbnail. And if you like being up to date with information, subscribe to me on YouTube here, and also follow me on Twitter at Hiranaman. Have a great day.